Hey everybody, Matthias here, also known as Realm Builder Guy. Welcome back to the channel, and yes, I am back. After a far too long hiatus, I'm back to making some content here on my YouTube channel. I want to thank all of you for sticking around and supporting the channel and watching, and all the new subscribers, because the growth has actually been surprisingly strong in the months of my absence. Now, I've relocated, we've moved, bought a house, are now in Wisconsin, and the whole transition period took a bit longer than expected. Go figure, buying a house, moving in. There were delays with the move. It was a bit of a nightmare at times. Then getting settled in with family and work and stuff, and now, notwithstanding any colds that we're battling through seemingly on a weekly basis, I'm coming back to YouTube to you guys and making some more content. So this video, I kind of want to talk about what the plans are and what that's going to look like for the foreseeable future. So we're going to talk about existing series. There are really only two. There are the Plantagenets with Crusader Kings 3, and then, of course, the Pyrrhic Wars with Imperator Rome. So I'm going to start with that one first. Yeah, I don't have any plans on continuing with that one. Imperator Rome, while still a fun game that I really enjoy, is I'm not going to say it's a dead game, because obviously people play it and there is a good modding community overall, but it's kind of flatline. If I compare that to, say, my Sparta series, which was an absolute blast, that was still when, well, Imperator Rome was still around, and it showed it in the views and the comments and the interactions. So unfortunately, Pyrrhic Wars, not going to continue with that one, and not returning to Imperator Rome probably ever here on the channel. Then Crusader Kings 3. So, had I been able to return in the summer, definitely would have continued with that series. Now it's been even longer, and there were some comments that maybe it's time to move on from that series, and that's kind of what I'm leaning towards, is starting something afresh. Unless, of course, you guys down in the comments let me know, no, we want to see the story out all the way to the end of the timeline and see what happens there. If that's the case, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, leave a comment down below. And, leaving a comment down below would be good anyway, to let me know kind of what you're thinking. So Crusader Kings 3, I will continue, of course, making content for that game, even though my interest isn't as strong as it used to be. But with the new DLC content, it's definitely better than it was. So I'm planning on doing a short series, kind of delving into that, let's call it adventure hero party system. It's very roleplay heavy, not so much on kingdom and domain management. That is something I'm very curious about exploring with you. I've not really done much with it. I've kind of delved into it a little bit, but when I explore it with you, and that's probably going to be a relatively short series, kind of see how we feel about it. I do have an idea for another long-term CK3 project, but that one right now is a little bit on the back burner as I do this and some other stuff. And speaking of other stuff, as far as PC games come to the channel, I've been playing around with a few that I've really come to enjoy, and those will definitely be coming to the channel in some form or other in the coming weeks and months. Songs of Conquest, it's been really addicting. I'm definitely going to do maybe a campaign playthrough of that. Check it out and play that. Then beyond that, Age of Wonders 4. Eventually, I would like to bring that to the channel as well. And then there are two that I would classify as a bit more niche that I've really enjoyed diving into, and I think you will too, because it kind of scratches some itches from Crusader Kings 3, as well as some of you that kind of like the Hex Encounter war games that I have featured on the channel from time to time. So those two games are one from Slytherin, and that is, I have to look at my notes real quick, Field of Glory Kingdoms. So that will kind of fall into that Crusader Kings 3 category, and I really want to dive deeper into it and then come to an analysis. Is it better than CK3, or is it just different from CK3, but still plays in that medieval time period? Played around with it a little bit, went through the tutorials. It's definitely more in-depth in some areas than Crusader Kings 3 is. I would say maybe in diplomacy, definitely in trade and economics. It's way more of a grand strategy realm builder game than CK3 is, which is very story heavy to a degree. So that's one I definitely want to feature on the channel. And then the next one is, looking over here, is Kingdom Dungeon and Hero. This combines a lot of cool aspects. It combines kind of a hex encounter war game with kind of grand strategy, domain realm management, and classic Dungeons and Dragons dungeon delving in Heroes. So that is one I want to bring. I played it a little bit, and yeah, it's a ton of fun, and I keep wanting to play it. And it's from a single developer, Alvaro Suso, Kraken Studios, where I did Warplan Pacific that I reviewed here on the channel, gosh, a few years ago and loved. He did this. He reached out to me, said, "You want to try this out?" I said yes. And, I played with it when it was still, before launch. And I've really enjoyed it since then, so I think you guys will enjoy it as well. We can build in a lot of story into that game as well, even though, of course, it's not quite a story game like, say, CK3 is. Speaking of story game, another one that I would like to bring to the channel in some form in the future is Wildermyth. So this is a kind of a JRPG, or it's an RPG, which is very story heavy. It is procedurally generated and a lot of fun because you have no idea what's going to happen. And I love that. That is how I play classic Dungeons and Dragons, do a lot of random procedural generation of things, and it keeps things fresh for me as the DM as well as for the players. Now, speaking of Dungeons and Dragons, one thing that's been really interesting, last year I did a few videos about tabletop role-playing games, and specifically a lot about classic or old school D&D. Well, to my surprise, in the last few months, a lot of those videos have really done well. The views have, for the level of my channel, exploded. And so I'm going to delve deeper into tabletop role-playing games, which I already said a few months ago I want to do more of here on the channel. I really love that game, that hobby, and want to bring that passion here to the channel. So we're going to talk about classic D&D, old school D&D, as well as some other games. I have a project I'm going to try bring it to the channel. It's with a tabletop role-playing game that I truly love and consider one of the best out there. I kind of want to try something there. We'll kind of see how that goes with you as well. Manor Lords is another game I want to try out. So switching back to PC again, you know me, I don't use scripts, so this is a little bit more rambly. And trying to think, tabletop war games and board games, I'd like to feature those as well, though probably less so, as I focus predominantly on the strategy PC game front as well as tabletop role-playing games. So expect to see a lot there. So a lot of these channels, a lot of these series will be starting relatively soon in the next coming weeks. I hope you will enjoy them, and as always, I appreciate all your support, your comments, your likes, and all current and future new subscribers to the channel. So until next time, I'm Realm Builder Guy, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.